Marketing your books on social media. You get a lot of that from all these experts out there that say, hey, if you want to succeed in this business, you got to market your books on social media. You have to have a social media presence. But it's not just as simple as setting up shop and just making things happen. There's some do's, don'ts, and some proven strategies for selling more books from your social media platform of choice. We're going to deep dive into that today. So it's going to be a little longer than it normally is because I'm going to bloviate for a little bit, but it's going to be some information worthwhile. So make sure that you stay tuned to today's podcast.
Learn how to publish books and build your author business with award-winning author and self-publishing consultant Dale L. Roberts. This is the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast.
There's still some time to enter for your chance to win one of two sweet prizes from the fine folks over at Midblart and Get Covers. Simply visit dalelinks.com/giveaway to enter for your chance at winning a formatting and layout package by Midblart worth up to, you ready for this? $460. Yes, that's pretty freaking crazy. This is a 4-part giveaway series that culminates in a premium cover design package worth $700. Yes, that means the final prize in the giveaway is going to be a stellar premium cover design done by my favorite and preferred cover design platform in Midblart. And the Get Covers giveaway is a premium movie poster design. If you've ever thought about, getting a movie cover design, this is really cool because it's only $35. So if you're a fiction author who always wanted to see your book turned into a movie poster, I know I have, this giveaway is for you. For an inexpensive graphic design for authors, visit our sponsors Get Covers at my affiliate link, dalelinks.com/getcovers. And for my preferred premium cover design services, Midblart, take 10% off your order with Dale10 when you visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/Midblart. All right, so let's reel it back just a little bit here. Let's talk about an author platform. What is an author platform? Because we have to understand this, because a lot of people will talk about author platform and inevitably social media is part of that. Your author platform is your ability to market your work and reach potential readers. This is your reach, if you will. This is your bullhorn that goes out into the world, that reaches out to people. An online presence is the most effective author platform since it doesn't cost more than a little time and consistent effort. Sure, there are some exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, it can be free. This may include a website, social media, your product pages, and so on. Now, what social media platform should you choose? Now, this is entirely up to you. Ask peers within your industry where they hang out. See if they're getting any good results on one platform over the other. If you're brand new to social media, just pick one avenue for now. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the thousands of choices that are out there. Some people are like, you got to get on TikTok, or you got to get on Instagram, or you got to get on Threads. Good Lord, please stop suggesting Threads to me, folks, because I'm not going there. Pick the platform that you're most comfortable with. And you're going to hear that a lot in today's podcast here. Now, what are my preferences on social media? I think it's a given. YouTube. A lot of people don't view it as social media, but believe it or not, it really is social media. YouTube is, to me, the most dead simple way of reaching a very large audience with, a little bit of effort. It just depends on the effort that you want to put into it. Twitter is going to be another favorite place that I like to go to. Facebook. Now, I used to like LinkedIn, and it's great for nonfiction authors, by the way, but I ended up leaving the platform because I felt like I wasn't bringing anything to the table, and there was just a whole lot of noise there. Now, that's just my personal belief. LinkedIn is still a fantastic platform for a lot of business professionals out there. So if you enjoy that platform, go for it. Now, other platforms to consider include Instagram and TikTok. Now, TikTok has been exploding lately, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go there. China's going to steal my information. That's cool. I'm not going to try to talk you off that ledge, but I'm going to tell you this, that there has been a lot of authors that have had breakout successes. Smash out. That's a new term here, Dale. Thanks. I appreciate that. They've had smashing success over on TikTok and building their platform that way. I mean, the Colleen Hoovers of the world are getting their day in the sun because of Book Talk. So just consider some of those platforms. Now, you don't have to limit it to the ones I just said. If you like, for instance, Snapchat, or if you like Reddit, go for it. Now, what should you do on social media? What shouldn't you do? Let's start it out with the do's. the very first thing you got to do is connect with other people. It's not just merely you going and screaming into a vast void of information, because if you're going in there just to scream a bunch of stuff, people are going to look at you like the crazy person who's talking to their hand on the sidewalk on the corner expecting to get money. Nah, we're all good with that one right there. When you go to these platforms, connect with people, make it genuine, make it real. Now, you're going to, first of all, want to find your tribe of readers. So who are the people that would be most appropriate for your books? Because on every platform, trust me, there is a niche following that is devoted to what you're doing. So what's your niche? Where can you find readers congregating that enjoy your niche? And what can you contribute to these communities? Remember how I said LinkedIn, I didn't feel like I was contributing much? Well, it's true. I was posting up a number of articles and posts and things like that. I thought it was of value, but it wasn't getting any engagement or activity. And I didn't want to learn what would get that because I just didn't like LinkedIn. Not from day one. I tried. Professor Nez, I love you, man. You've been great. You've been a guest on this channel a few times. He was fantastic, and he's always been the person who trumpets for LinkedIn. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy it anymore. It's all about value first. If you go into social media with the sole purpose of driving sales without some form of reciprocation, you can forget about any book sales. No one wants to do that. Now, will you get some sales if you just go to a platform and just blast it out there and say, hey, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book? Sure. After all, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while is how the old adage goes. Now, what I would recommend is network with other authors as well. So you're going to find your readers, hang out where they're at, contribute meaningful, valuable discussion and insights, and then network with other authors. Because when you can get with other authors, you can start to build author collaborations and maybe even do some things like, for instance, if you're on YouTube, you would do a YouTube video collaboration. Or if you're on Twitter, maybe you pen somebody else's tweet and they pen theirs for you, or so on and so forth. Now, you get bonus points for authors in your niche. If you can get niche-specific authors to work with you, the rising tide raises all boats. So when one author in your niche is successful, chances are very likely they're going to take you along for the ride if you're collaborating with them. Now, let's step back here. We've seen the do's, and I'm going to mention a few other do's and some strategies and such in just a little bit. I just wanted to say the do's and don'ts in advance here. So what you should not do on social media, oh my gosh. Don't spam people with every offer you have without providing any real meaningful value. I think it was once put by Gary Vee in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, in which it was to deliver value, then make a sale. Because if you're just showing up to sell things, people are going to look at you like that weird MLM person who shows up to a party wanting to hawk their goods for you. Nah, I'm good. I'm all right. I don't know who you are. I don't want your book because all you've done is beat me up to go ahead and buy it. I'm good. I don't care how good your cover is. I don't care how good your book description is. If all you're doing is coming to take from me, I'm going to tune you out. And this goes for a lot of people on social media. Now, social media platforms have systems in place that function on an algorithmic relevance. Now, algorithmic relevance, meaning that, okay, there is a search engine, let's say, for instance, on Facebook, all right? And on Facebook, the thing that they want to look for is what's going to drive engagement, what's going to create likes, comments, shares, what's going to grow Facebook as a whole, what's going to keep people on the platform. That is algorithmic relevance. If your posts are getting a ton of activity and driving engagement, the platform will drive even more traffic. Now, conversely, if the social media platform sees no engagement, or worse yet, you're driving your people off of their platform, they're going to throttle your posts and serve them to less people. I mean, gosh, you invite everybody over to a party and everybody's on over there, hey, and then some guy who's like, hey, come over and check out my party. It's over here. The person who's hosting the party is going to be like, get out. I don't want you here. What are you doing? You're just taking all my people off the platform. So just know that when you are putting together posts, think about it from an algorithmic relevance standpoint. Is it going to be a relevant feature for those that are on the platform? Now, here's the other one. Gosh, this makes me cringe. Be out of my skin. Don't follow for follow. Stop. All right. If you are genuinely interested in following or subscribing to a person, definitely do it. But don't do it for reciprocation's sake. Even if you are wanting to, say, for instance, collaborate with other authors, if that author has a junk feed that they're doing nothing but their 99-cent promotions and trying to sell their crappy book, you're probably not going to want to follow them. All right. Follow people you are genuinely interested in following. I see a lot of the indie author community over on Twitter doing this follow for follow business. No, don't. Don't even ask for it, because here's the thing. They're empty followers. Those people are only doing it for the exchange. It's just transactional, because after that, they're going to tune you out. They're not paying attention to what you have to say. They got what they needed. Now they're ready to go. So don't do the follow for follow. Don't ask for follow for follow. And for crying out loud, don't ask me to follow you, because if I really am not interested in what you got to share, I'm not going to follow you. So you can follow me. Great. That's fantastic. Don't follow me. I don't care. It's up to you. Don't expect immediate results. I think a lot of people expect everything to just blow up over on social media. I've been on YouTube since April of 2016. My main channel, I think, is somewhere about 86,000 subscribers, and my podcast channel is somewhere just south right now of this recording at 7,000 subscribers. It's actually 6,993 before I went live here. Now, burning a social media presence, building a social media presence is a slow burn here, folks. It takes time and a whole lot of mistakes to get it right. Trust me, I've made so many mistakes. There's been so many times that I've posted some things and I thought, oh, this is a gem. And people were like, nah, we're good. And even then, you'll still have to improve in some areas. Now, years ago, when I first started my YouTube channel, I put out some horrible videos. Horrible. Nobody wanted to see them. And the few people that did them, they seemed pretty happy with it. In order to appeal to a larger audience, I had to speak in a different way. I had to produce content that would bring in a larger audience rather than speaking to a smaller audience. And I think it comes down to what your message is, what's your goal, what are you trying to say to your potential audience and the readers that you want to attract. So it's going to take some time. You're going to put out some duds. You're going to post something on Facebook and it's going to get crickets. Other instances, you might post a poll and it blows up and goes viral big time. Now, the other thing that you don't want to do is don't post anything that isn't brand safe or off brand. Now, what do I mean by brand safe? If you're, let's say, for instance, an author that's a stay-at-home mom that shows homesteading or something like that, and it's clean-cut, family-friendly, it's probably not a good idea to drop a bunch of F-bombs over on your feed. That's not brand safe. Or if it's off-brand. For instance, if you are that same homesteading mom that is sharing some stuff, we don't want to hear about what you think about the latest celebrity scandal. We don't want to hear anything that you have to say about how you stubbed your toe on a coffee table of some sort. Keep it on brand, all right? You're going to be always on stage, and trust me, when you put something onto social media, it lives forever and ever. I've had some instances where I've posted some stuff and people will remember it years down the road and I'll go, oh my gosh, I don't even remember that. My bad. So make sure that everything is on brand and again, brand safe. Now, if for some reason, you're like a Mark Manson type person who likes to drop F-bombs and put it inside the title of your book, that's probably going to be brand safe. But just think about what's going to be appropriate to your brand. And while we're on this little note here, I was actually listening to a Mark Coker book. It's over actually on his podcast where he talks about marketing. And one of the things is, don't make your brand what it isn't, in that you're being nothing but negative. Like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this, and that. No one wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And when it comes from a legend like Mark Coker, you might want to be paying attention. So we've got those do's and don'ts out the way. What are some best practices for building your social media presence? Now, I've already said this one before, but I think it's important that we repeat it. Pick one platform and master it. All right. I've been on YouTube for a number of years and I feel like I'm not quite mastering it yet, but I'm doing pretty well. So you've got to do the same thing. Pick the one platform. Stick with a social media platform that most interests you, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, among others. Don't expect to build and grow your social media presence overnight or with little effort. There's going to be some people out there going to try to sell you a bill of goods. Say, oh, if you buy my course, you'll be able to blow up and become viral overnight. That's horse manure. Shut up. All right? Focus on the long game. You might only have 23 followers right now, but if you were consistent with your efforts, that might be 230 within the next year, or 2,300, or 23,000. Stick to a consistent schedule. Daily's nice, but might not be realistic based on your schedule or the platform. For instance, if you're on YouTube and you're planning on doing daily videos, you might want to point and shoot and do no editing whatsoever. But if you're on a platform like Twitter, it should be relatively easy to go ahead and get consistent with something daily. Again, think about what your schedule is like. The part you need to hone in on is be consistent, even if that is weekly showing up. Monthly, forget about it. You're going to be buried in the noise. There are few exceptions to the rule. Few. All right? Use scheduling apps, by the way. There are some other things like TweetDeck with Twitter. Facebook groups and business pages have a scheduling and built into it, as well as Instagram. TikTok's got a scheduling feature, and so many more have scheduling available to them. I personally use Content Studio for my scheduling on other platforms outside of YouTube, but that comes at a monthly premium for new users. By the way, you can go and take a look at it. That's at dalelinks.com/Content Studio. That will be in the notes, by the way, here for this podcast. Now, research your options online because there are some services that offer free trials or a free tier with restrictions for scheduling. Now, I recommend sticking to free options until your author brand can afford premium options. I see so many people that will go into debt trying to get themselves small things like this. You're going to have to pay for it in sweat equity. Just get the free stuff until you can, otherwise you're making, let's say, thousands per month, and then you can justify that expense. Now, the other best practice is going to be engage some more. How many of you have watched one of my videos and you notice I reply? I reply on each and every single one of them. And unless you're a troll, because in that instance, I usually don't reply and just block you. But engage. That's the most important thing. And keep the conversation going. Find some way to start a conversation with the person. Maybe they post something, oh, I love this. Really, what was one thing that you enjoyed most about it? Find some way to just get a little bit of a verbal back and forth. Now, that's going to require a little bit more work, and especially being consistent with it. But I think that you will notice when you start to connect with other people and keep the conversation going, and don't just make it about yourself, make it about the person commenting. Then you're going to notice your post is going to blow up. You'll know a post isn't striking a chord with your audience if you're getting no engagement. Look, I've done and still do some posts that are real stinkers. They suck. Nobody wants it. If there's not very many views on a video, it probably sucks. Nobody's interested. If I've got no impressions whatsoever on a tweet, probably it sucks. You just got to get used to it because you're going to have some stinkers. It's not all victories. It's not all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns here, folks. So it'll take some time. And it'll take some trial and error to see what grabs your audience's attention. And as soon as you find that thing, double down on it. Just trust me on this one. You find something, it strikes a chord, figure out how can I do this again? And then do it again. I recommend if you're doing anything on any other platforms that aren't video related, including an image, GIF, or video when you can. Include a thought-provoking question or factoid that'll get your audience's attention in some way for them to, ready for this, engage. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule, but you want to keep your text brief yet enticing. So think of it like copywriting. Remember, people are going to be scrolling, and you expect them to stop and read your epic post that's like 18,000 words? You want to keep it brief here, folks. You want to sell your prospective visitors with the right words to read all the way through and take some form of action, whether it's commenting, sharing, or liking your post. Now, when it comes to hashtags, you can use hashtags, but don't get too crazy on it, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that see a lot of hashtags and go, ooh, it becomes messy. It almost looks like a flea market for hashtags. Obviously there are platforms that encourage this, like Instagram, like, hey, you can do up to 30. Fantastic. Is it necessary? I found in a lot of instances where I've done split tests on hashtags with and without, and with a lot, there's really no change. So be selective about your hashtags, just don't go too crazy. Here's the one I see a lot of authors missing the boat on, and it is including a link in the bio option. Now, link in bio is essentially like, places like Twitter, you could put a link there. YouTube, you could put a link on the about section. Facebook, you could put a link inside your information section if you're on a business profile. I use the free version of a service called Linktree for my link in bio. They have a premium one, but I've never had a reason to upgrade. In fact, they actually even show you the analytics of how many people are actually clicking on each one of those links. So then you could start to understand what to prioritize, because people are obviously clicking on it. This allows me to share all of my relevant links from one link. So when I take that one link of Linktree, it drops them onto a landing page, has all the links, everything's labeled. I even put some thumbnails in there so people know what they're dealing with. Now, this shares all those relevant links, one click for them. And then the visitors are given a menu of options to choose from. That's really nice. If you choose a single link to promote your author brand, let's say you're like, dude, I don't want to deal with Linktree. Don't even want to fool with it. I am not tech savvy. I hear a lot of people. Totally fine. Although Linktree is really, really easy, by the way. I recommend making your link an author-branded website or a universal book link of some sort. Lean towards your website if you can, because it'll take them off the platform and drive them on over into your atmosphere, into your zone, into your world. So then you can send them to all the different various areas, like a bookstore or to another social media site that you're on, or any number of things, or your blog. Your website should already be your hub anyways, the place where all your readers can go to find out where you're at, what you're doing, and how to get in touch with you. So that's why I always say, if you can, at the very minimum, put your website as the link in bio. Now, here's another little tip here. Best practices: engage in other people's posts. Remember, it's not just about you. It's not just about growing your own platform. No, you're not just showing up to badger folks to buy your books. Don't go on social media just to simply badger people to buy your books, because it's going to get old. You're going to be engaging in a meaningful conversation. Yes, you're wanting to connect with real human beings, again, in a meaningful way. As Maya Angelou once said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So make someone feel important, special, or at the very minimum, listened to. Hey folks, as we start to wrap up today's podcast recording, even though it's only been about roughly 15 minutes since I last mentioned it, I figured you should know there's still time to enter for your chance to win one of two prizes by Miblart at Get Covers when you visit dalelinks.com/giveaway and dalelinks.com/getcoversgiveaway. It's pretty neat, right? It's still open. Now, special thanks to our sponsors, Miblart, for arranging these sweet prizes. If you guys are enjoying things like this, these giveaways and such, one of the best ways to support that is to enter for one of those giveaways and also purchase something from them, because they'll continue to come over and pay for the overhead and help out with those pesky little things that come in the mail called bills for this little podcast here. Alrighty, final thoughts. If you've been led to believe that in order to succeed, you must have a social media presence, then you're on the right path. Yeah, it's a good idea to do that, but don't put yourself out there without being calculated about what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to leverage that platform. Building a social media presence isn't so much about directly selling books. It's about building real relationships and placing a large neon sign above your head that says, hey, I'm an author, let's talk. Now, get more detailed insights about building a social media presence when you pick up my 4-time award-winning book, Promotional Strategies for Books, available at dalelinks.com/promobook. And for order at your local library, just go over to your local library and request it. Overdrive, Hoopla, and Palace Marketplace, all 3 of those library distribution avenues actually have my books. All you got to do is just say, could you order that? And they will go ahead and do that. And actually in-app, I believe in Libby for Overdrive, you can actually request it through that way. So, hey, next week, we're starting a whole new podcast series about where to publish your books, including ebooks, print books, and audiobooks. Till then, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. Visit us at selfpublishingwithdale.com for more information on how you can level up your self-publishing business. Also, check out our growing video-on-demand service, chock full of free and premium content, when you head over to theselfpublishinghub.com. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a review on your preferred podcasting platform. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.